I try to give them good discounts. If a guy pays you $200 an hour, he's going to sit there and he's going to confront. And he's going to get his money's worth. If he knows there's no refunds, he's, all right, I'm here. Let's get this job done. And he's going to go to work. Same with your training. It's easy to blow. Get an MU. No. Okay, so you got that? I think so. Okay, so once you're operating, you got a little office somewhere, and all you got to do is run a little office somewhere. You got to plug into society, because the Church of Scientology doesn't let you put out a shingle saying you're a Scientologist or dynamic auditor unless we join your group. So what do you got to do, metaphysical auditor? You plug into society. You plug into the New Age community, psychic fairs, and then you start creating your own group. So you got to create a second, third dynamic right away, and that brings in a FreeZone group for you. Okay, that's a key thing. Create a group. Handle any fears you have on the Church of Scientology, RTC, ETs, government. I know a group that's hiding out in Happy Camp. You know what Happy Camp is? Of course you don't, because it's very hidden. There's 10, 12 people out there. And they're doing a little bit of knots, and doing a little bit of Scientology, and but they're in hiding. By the way, do you see any office special affair people around me stopping me from talking right now? Oh, they're in hiding. They should be. It's okay. It's safe. Okay, so don't be afraid to get too big. Your center or your practice is as big as you are, the biggest you can have it. If your practice isn't really going, then you better get some more sessions. That's all I'm saying. I learned that by experience. The more sessions I got, the bigger my practice got. Same with any kind of job you have or any kind of business you have. It's going to get as big as you can have it, as big as you are able to create it, because you're all creators. Don't be suppressive yourself. Don't do suppressive things. The knowledge of Scientology and the technology is a two-edged sword. It could be used for good and evil. That's why absolute power corrupts absolutely, because there's nobody there to check. There's no check and balance. You know. That's why I have a wife. She's my check and balance. I really progressed over there. My practice went so far. Hooked up with another auditor. She's a class 4 intern at the age of 24. I thought that was pretty good for someone. I gotta marry this one. Hook up with other auditors. If you're going to have a partnership, the guy's got to be an auditor. One of my best auditors who audits me is my wife.
But didn't you just say that husband and wife things don't work?
We don't have a 2D case. Yeah, at a certain point, we got auditing, right? Then at a certain point, of course, when she left the church, I was a little higher than her on the bridge, so I helped her get up, right? At first, it's like, oh, I don't want to say that because you might think less of me. See? Well, I had no CI or problem with that. See? I kept your TRs in. Right? Able to experience it. 2 rules of happy living. Boom. The other person comes up. Then at a certain place, you're creative. You're creating 2D. It becomes a creation. So there used to be a 2D rundown that Rocky Stump had. Remember Rocky Stump? Yeah, you remember Rocky Stump. Yeah. And of course, when he got kicked out of the church, there goes the rundown. But people loved it, and it was using the tech on the second dynamic, coming up with items or whatever, LNN items and different things he did. You can even run Dianetics, and we did a lot of that work, right? And she did it on me. You got to get that 2D case handled. How are you going to operate on a third dynamic if your 2D's messed up? Don't be PTS. How do you know you're PTS? Usually you don't. You're running along and you start to become PTS, and you put a lot of effort in it, and finally that's why you got to have a group around you, because somebody's going to tap you on your shoulder. Be willing for somebody else to come to you and say, something's up, you're PTS, you're causing trouble, you're turbulated, you look out of sorts. You got to be able to, and you got to tell people, tell me that. If you don't see me FNing, FNing students and PCs, right? If you don't see me as practitioner, I'm talking to you as a practitioner. You're going to go out and do this. Get people to flag you. Another very important thing. Do not pick up clinic cases. Leave those for psychologists and psychiatrists. Scientology's for the able. Clinic cases. Don't pick any. Don't get them. They'll destroy. It's to me, they're just as bad or worse, and it's suppressive. At least you know who that is, or somebody's PTS. Clinic case will eat up your time and energy, and a lot of times they don't even have money to pay you. It's not fair to your other clients. It's not fair to your spouse or your sibling or anybody. It's not fair even to you, because they'll eat up your time and energy. And it'll be something like this. It'll be like floating tone arm, great wind. I just want exterior. And so we go, oh, we better take a break, and go then. So we walked down to the store and got us some Coke or something. Took a break. And on the way back, he goes, Ray, I don't know if I got anything out of that. Who was I talking to? You know what I mean? Schizophrenic. I didn't bother finding out. I kicked the guy out. It's not for everybody. No, I couldn't help him. I sent him off. I don't have any back off in sending somebody else out or referring to somebody. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just giving you my successful actions. Another successful action is I continue to get educated. I listen to these guys up here. They may have something I could use. So I keep networking. I keep finding out what people are doing. Oh, how did that meter work for you, and stuff like that. And then when I got out of the church, like I told you earlier, I went and found somebody who knew how to do power. I went and found somebody who knew how to do knots. I went and found somebody. I just didn't rely on my own. Even though I'm Key Life grad and I think I could assimilate and read and simulate anything, give me some time. I still go to the practitioner who's been trained and who's mastered it. Okay, another thing different than some of the practitioners out there is when someone comes in, my success is to put them on the bridge. It gives them a direction, it gives them hope, it gives them a purpose to come in tomorrow and pay for 12 and a half hours. Otherwise, they're just going to be paying you by the hour. Fix me today. What that happens, when you do that, you get into a codependency. They're taking your theta. They're using up your energy because they can't get through their bank because you haven't really cleared them, keyed them out, cleared one subject. You haven't taught them to clear themselves or to clear or to reach those higher levels. See? I'm willing to train anybody here, and all I know. You just got to get on the course and on the check sheet. If you're not willing to do that, then I ain't going to give it to you. Because I've seen too many people abuse the tech and change it and mess people up. Screwing people up with this stuff is not funny. Unless you're trained correctly, you're going to do it. And if you do it, even as a practitioner, unintentionally, there's ways to fix it. Or you could always find somebody, if you're networking, and fix it and get it fixed. So there's, don't be afraid to audit. There's always that mind protection thing everybody talks about. Another successful thing I did was I always would network among like-minded people and among other peer groups, people who reached the same level as I did, and other practitioners. Even though I might disagree with some of their methodologies, I still would stay in calm and still would network with them and still would grant him being not unless he was being a criminal or putting people in the psych wards. Don't go out there and rip off other practitioners. If he's on so-and-so's line, for example, somebody's on Pat's line, call Pat up. Say, this guy just called me up. He was been on your lines. What's going on? He could be suppressive, moving around, messing up. He could just blown course from Pat's training. See, you need to find out, right? And Pat says, "Fine, go ahead, audit the guy." It's cool because I wouldn't audit anybody who's got off somebody's lines without me calling that guy up. Okay, you get more data, and you don't wind up doing that. You don't wind up ripping people off inadvertently. And I never have done that. And I don't even go to orgs. That's another thing I've done. I never gone over to the orgs and ripped people off the